lamb vindaloo, but tonight I'm making it with chicken because I do want to. I want to show people that you don't have to stick to the recipes completely. You can make this with prawns, you can make it with chicken, you can make it with paneer, whatever you feel like cooking it with. So in this case, I simmered some chicken, just some regular chicken, in my base sauce to give my base sauce some more flavor. And then I put it in the grill and just kind of grilled it a bit, just because I like the charcoal flavor. I'm going to make this quite spicy because Vindaloos are. All right, we're back. I think we were having a couple of Wi-Fi issues there. I hope everyone's still there. Anyway, I'm not going to go through everything I just said, but we are going to be making curry house style chicken Vindaloo. And as we are having some Wi-Fi issues, let's just go ahead and get started right now. Let's go over to the pan. All right. I'm just heating this pan over a medium-high heat right now, and I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of oil there and just let it start heating up a bit. And to that, I'm going to go ahead and add some whole spices. So if you're following along with me, we've got our cassia leaf, a couple of cardamom pods, which I've smashed, and also some star anise, which will give it a nice anisey flavor. We just want to infuse that into the oil as the oil heats up. They will still impart their flavor later on in cooking as well. And to that, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of garlic and ginger paste. And we just want to fry this for a little bit, about 30 seconds or so. And we're just cooking off the rawness. If you've been watching my demos for the last week, I'm making them as well. You'll see that just how tweaking these recipes, I mean, they're so easy. By tweaking these recipes just a little, you come up with completely different curries, which is a great thing about this style of cooking. All right, to that, I'm going to add some tomato puree, about a quarter a cup if you're watching from America, 70 milliliters everywhere else. We're just going to let that kind of bubble, come to a bubble a bit. And then I've got about a tablespoon of mixed powder. That's curry house style curry powder, so you could use curry powder. And a good tablespoon of Kashmiri chili. But I'm not going to put all that in there. I'm putting about a teaspoon and a half. We're just going to give that a nice stir. And that's going to make our base. Really our base for the Vindaloo. You can see it's already turning a nice bright red. And feel free to ask questions while I'm doing this. And I'd also love to know where you are. So if you're
saying hi from Arizona.
Allison, nice you're there. Yeah, anyone that wants to tell me where they're at, it'd be great to hear where you are in the world. And to that, I'm going to add these chilies, and hopefully it doesn't go really bad in here, coughing-wise. Let's put a little bit of this turmeric in there too.
Hi from Cornwall. Tina's in Cornwall.
Hi, Tina from Cornwall. All right, this is looking really nice. It's time to add some of this base sauce.
Oh, John White's in the arm, a couple of miles away.
All right. Hi, John.
Hi, John.
Okay, now I'm just going to just kind of cook this now. Just let it cook down a bit. And I'm not going to need to actually, you want to try and the best you can to stop yourself from stirring, because you really don't need to stir from the center. Look at that. It's not going to burn. What it will do is it will caramelize around the sides, and you do want to get that because it's amazing. It just give you a really nice flavor in your curry. So if you've got a metal pan, probably won't work with a non-stick pan, but if you've got a metal pan like this.
Dave's in Berlin asking where you get the spices from.
I'm not really sure where you get them in Berlin, but
they're online, lots of online groups.
Yeah, there are a lot of you should be able to get them online. I'm sure you can, because
a lot of people get them delivered, don't they?
Yeah, I know. I've spoken to a couple of people not far in Poland that get them all online.
If you join KitChat, people mention delivery websites.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to add this chicken. So this is pre-cooked chicken. Obviously, you could add raw chicken. It's just going to take longer to cook. And you lose some of the flavor because that chicken just stewed slowly in my bay sauce. And then I charred it a bit, which I really like.
We've got Mandy in North Wales. We've got people from everywhere. South Wales, Portsmouth. Oh, Simon's in Marbella.
Oh, nice to be in Marbella, eh? All right. So I've got this, I'm just kind of like layering it very slowly and just letting it cook down. And I'm not going to stir from there. So I'll try not to. And as it goes around, if you're cooking with me.
Late and want you to start again.
Hey, it's going to be recorded. Don't worry, it's recorded. All right. So we got that going now. I'm just going to leave that for a second. And now I'm going to add something very controversial. And that is a bit of potato. And the potato was actually added to British curries by mistake. Allos means, or I'm not even going to try and say it correctly, but in Portuguese, allos is like it means garlic. So the original dish was meat cooked in vinegar or wine and garlic. And the chefs here, and probably mainly here, misunderstood that and thought allos, well, aloo in Hindi is potato. So they thought that Vindaloo must have potato in it. So that's why when you go out for a Vindaloo, you're more than likely going to get some potato in it. This is looking just really nice.
Excuse me. Would you add veg at the same time as the chicken for a vegetarian curry?
Yes, and it really kind of depends on the veg you're adding. But yes, like broccoli or anything like that, just a little bit harder, about the same time. Just watch it so you don't overcook it. It should be just fine. I'm going to throw this in too.
Is that part-boiled potatoes?
Those are parboiled potatoes, so they're about 80% cooked right now, and they will cook through really quickly. You don't want to cook them all the way through because then they'll start turning to mashed potato in the sauce.
It says every Vindaloo has to have potatoes.
All right, well, this one has it. All right, now I'm going to add just a little bit of coriander. And to finish it off, or I might be finishing it off, we'll see. I'm going to add just a little bit of vinegar, about a tablespoon of vinegar. Now that's to give it a nice tart flavor. And in the original Vindaloos, they would have used palm vinegar. And a lot of times you'll go out and they won't use vinegar at all. They'll use like concentrate, tamarind concentrate, which works really well too. So really the whole idea, I'm going to cough here, quite spicy.
Water there.
Yeah.
And we've got another request to do pilo rice on video. That seems to be the massive request, pilo rice.
Yes, I think we do need to do that. I'm probably going to do that next week, actually. I think next week, because we're doing Monday through Friday, I am going to do a lot more curry house style curries, and I'm going to have to get rice in there somehow. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, because some rice dishes take some time to do. So I'll have to have a good think about that one.
Nathan's saying, what's your view about using slow cookers for curries?
I think you can use a slow cooker for curries, especially if you're doing something like I'm just going to turn this down now. If you're doing something like let me go over here. If you're cooking something like lamb or beef, they are really good. However, as you saw when I started this video, I first fried up some spices and I infused that into the oil, and I fried some garlic and ginger. That kind of thing is good to do first. So do that in a pan first, then add the meat and everything to your slow cooker, and you're off, because you get a lot of flavor from that.
Is the pan aluminium?
That pan is aluminium, as is this one. These are the two that I use most right here. A little one and a little one's a little bit larger. I don't have a preference. They're both perfect for cooking for 1 to 2 people, which is what we're doing right now. So it's a really good size pan, and it heats up very quickly, and it also cools down quite quickly.
Larry's asking, what was the red item you put in?
The red item, that was the Scotch bonnet chili. So I already added those earlier. So you can see I added the chilies. I had some green bird's eye chilies, and I also added some finely chopped a habanero or a Scotch bonnet chili. And then I just kind of threw that in just to, I don't know.
Sandra says, does vinegar make a big difference because she hates it?
Anytime you hate something, don't put it in. Don't stick to the recipe there. Just leave it out. If you do like lemon juice or something that's tart like that, sour, use it instead maybe. But if you just don't like the sour flavor, leave it out completely.
Someone's asking, how do you char your pre-cooked chicken?
Well, that's a different thing. I actually, what is that? We kind of cheated today because usually we put it in the oven, but I simmered it first, and I used an Instapot, which has a broiler function. And so we put the chicken in there just to test it and see how it would work, and it worked really well. It took us about, how long was it? 8 minutes?
8 minutes, yeah.
8 minutes, and we had it charred, and it was just absolutely perfect. So I think we'll be using that again. I like to find cheats like that. Anything that makes things easier and still getting a really good flavor, I'm all for it. Also, one thing I wanted to say to you tonight is a lot of Vindaloos, a lot of people ask me, how do you make a Naga curry, a Naga chicken curry or something like that? Well, you could just make a regular chicken curry with just not very much in it, but just add some Naga to it. I'll be adding, once I serve this to my wife, so half of it, I'll be adding some of this Naga chili to it as well. It just gives it a nice, Naga pickle gives it a nice fresh flavor of chilies, and it is quite spicy though. So if you're familiar with it, you might want to put that in there as well.
I was asking if we're making naan bread tonight, or is it rice again?
Afraid it's rice again tonight.
We don't have time for these videos.
we've been quite busy the last few days, but I'm going to be doing some naans in the next. I'm going to fire up this tandoor, and we're going to do some
Neil Bryan is
live.
Asking, is that why you don't put celery in it? Is he joking about something?
I think he might be.
Someone said you don't put celery in Indian food.
Yeah.
I don't think you do.
Anyway, so that's about it. I mean, I'm happy to answer questions. I love doing these things, and this, like as you see, I cooked this up in less than 10 minutes. So it's a great way of cooking. You get your base sauce done. You get your meat cooked however you want. And you just get everything prepared. I mean, obviously, I had everything out in front of me today, and that's you'll want to do that with authentic Indian food or the curry house style. As long as you have all your stuff in front of you, you're going to be able to throw these together in no time, and it tastes just as good as a takeaway.
Lorraine's asking about the pans. What size pans are they?
This one I think is 24 centimeter, and that one I think is 28. And like I say, there's not much difference in them. They're about the same. There's not. I mean, I like them both. The only reason why I have two different sizes is because I wasn't thinking when I bought them. Otherwise, I'd have the two same size. But because I bought them at different times. But now I think I've got a collection of about 7, don't I?
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
So I got mainly the small one. This one here.
Jason's asking, so with various chilies, do you feel you can really taste the different levels of heat?
Yes, very a lot. The Scotch bonnet chilies, I'll take it out. That one there, that will do most people in. I like it. And just because it's a Vindaloo doesn't mean you have to make it so hot. Yeah. Just because it's a Vindaloo doesn't mean you have to make it so hot that someone's not going to enjoy it. If that's just silly. So you tone it down a bit. Use just maybe like a couple of bird's eye chilies, or even take the seeds out. That will tone it down. You'll still get the flavor of the chilies, but without all the heat. And where I would normally add quite a lot more chili powder tonight, I didn't. But I still use quite a lot. You can see from how red it is there. Do you want to show that? Should we show the pan again, or?
Well, in a bit, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
But more questions about the chili powder. I'll show that in a minute. But Bo's asking, she's struggling to find Kashmiri chili powder.
Okay, that isn't a problem. Kashmiri chili powder is chili powder from the Kashmir region, where it's supposed to be, of India. It's considered a mild chili powder, and really, if you go to the shop and you find a chili powder that you like using and you're happy with the heat level, that's going to be fine. Just be careful, because obviously if my recipe calls for a teaspoon or a teaspoon and a half of chili powder and yours happens to be a lot hotter than the Kashmiri chili powder, then it might be a little bit too much. Chili powder is something you can always add at any time during cooking, as long as you cook it a bit. So I always say cook a little bit of it, add just a tiny bit, taste it at the end. If you want it a little bit more spicy, add some more at that point.
Dean's asking, are there any base sauce quick cheats?
Yeah, so there's a few. Actually, I'm going to be doing some videos because I found a machine. It's on my Instagram actually, which I couldn't believe it, but it's the what's it called, Caroline? The Vitamix, and you literally throw everything in it. So everything for the base sauce, you throw it in there, put the lid on, put it on soup function, and 5 minutes later, you've got the smoothest, nicest base sauce. You can it just takes so much time away. We just find it's great. We're using it all the time. In fact, that's what that is. I just put it in the Vitamix and we were off. Then there's also I've just come out with a spice mix powder, which is it's early days, but I think it works all right. So that's a fast one as well.
Okay. Steve's asking, do you ever put boiled eggs with your curry? I do, but I don't have rice.
All right. I'm not a big fan of egg and curry. That's one thing I can't get my head around. I do like eggs, but I just can't. I've never really. I even like a lot of Indian food that has eggs in it. Like different omelets and that type of thing. But I've just never really got into that. So
Liam's asking, do you think curry leaves would work in this dish?
Yes, curry leaves work in anything because it's my favorite herb in the world. I could put curry leaves in pretty much any of the curry house curries and really like it. Remember though that curry leaves are they're from the southern part of India, so it's something you'd see a lot with coconut curries and just things that you'd find in the south more than you'd see in the north. Just going back, that's the way the recipes were. But I see no problem with most curries adding curry leaves because I just think they make it taste better.
Graham's asking, can you add pickles to the dishes?
That's what this is.
Garlic pickle.
Yeah, that's a naga pickle. That's a naga pickle.
I'm sure you could add garlic.
You could definitely add, you could add a lot. In fact, I'm not sure if you saw my Madras video, which was a couple of days ago that we did, but it's still live. It's on wherever you're watching from. It's on YouTube, Facebook. It's all over the place. But I did a Madras and I added mango pickle to that, so a spicy mango pickle. So yes, I mean the answer is if it sounds good, do it, and you really don't have to usually add too much. It's usually a tablespoon or so.
And Chris is asking, why do you use oil rather than ghee? Which oil do you use?
I use rapeseed oil, or depending on where you are in the world, it might be canola oil. Really, any good quality vegetable oil will do. The reason why I don't use ghee is just a second here. I do use ghee. I was going to prove it, but I can't find it. I use ghee all the time. Oh, here it is. Here's my ghee. Yeah, so there. No reason. It's just because I like to vary my recipes. You could use ghee in any of these curries, and especially the ones that are kind of buttery, like chicken tikka masala and korma. I mean, they're great with ghee. And I usually use my ghee just kind of vary things. So if I'm doing if I'm doing friends, I might cook a couple of the curries with some ghee and a couple with maybe some seasoned oil that's been seasoned with by cooking onions or something like that. Then also some plain oil. Just building those layers of flavor, and it just makes everything nice.
And Steph's asking, she likes hot curries, but her partner doesn't. How would you cool a curry down?
Cooling a curry down is one of the most difficult things there is. I mean, yes, you can always add, full fat yogurt or something like that, stir it in slowly. However, I really think the best thing to do, the best way to go about doing it is to just not add very much heat at the beginning and serve it out and add a little bit more for yourself. Because you can even make this style of cooking. I could have cooked 2, 3, even 4 curries at the same time because they don't really burn from the bottom. So you can either make 2 different curries or make a large curry and just add the chilies later.
And Steve's asking, do you subscribe to the general consensus that dried curry leaves aren't worth adding?
I am 100% behind that. I don't like dried curry leaves. I think they have about 1/5 the flavor of a fresh curry leaf. If anything, go out and buy them frozen or buy lots of fresh if you happen to find some and freeze them because they will always be better. They do freeze really well. and don't lose their flavor. So it's worth doing that.
And just finally, Simon, methy, how does that affect the flavour, the taste?
Well, right now, thanks for reminding me, because I forgot to even put it. I forgot to put it in. Here it is, sitting right there. Methy. I mean, methy is the herb that it's what.
Now I'll show the pan again.
Yeah. No, the way I do it is I add it by putting it between my fingers.
Pan again.
Right. Okay. I just break it between my fingers like that. Rub it between my fingers. And that really brings the flavor of the methy out.
There's a habanero chili as well.
Yeah.
I didn't show that earlier.
I showed it earlier. Yeah. So yeah, that's the way to do it, and it's one of those things that if you like it, go ahead and add it. That's the aroma when you walk into a good curry house. It hits you in the face. Everyone knows that smell and flavor. So if it's something you like I do, it's worth adding. So definitely. Yeah. All right. Well, we are going to be back here tomorrow. Like I said, we're going to be cooking live Monday through Friday through the lockdown, just to try and make things a little bit more fun for everyone. And tomorrow it's going to be prawn patilla. And just like this, if you don't want to cook with prawns, make the patilla sauce, which I'm going to show you how to do. You can add chicken to it. You can add paneer. You can do whatever you like to do. Add it. But I personally am going to be making prawn patilla, and I will put the recipe out there within the next few hours so that you have it. It is in my red book, so just follow it's also in the Bible here. It's the chicken patilla recipe. I'm going to be serving it for 2 people, so I'm kind of cutting it in half. But I will be using prawns instead of chicken, just because we've had plenty of chicken this week. I think we've had too much, haven't we?
They were chickened out.
Yeah, we are chickened out. We are totally chickened out. So it's prawns tomorrow, and hope to see you. I'll be back here at 5:20 as always, and we'll see you then. If you're not a member of my Facebook group, Curry Chit Chat, please come join us. It'd be great. We have just great convo and pictures and everything. And if you are on YouTube, please subscribe, because like I said, I've got a lot more videos on the way. Thank you very much, and we'll